While NASCAR runs their All-Star race in May, the All-American Racing Network took a different approach for 2026, running it as a points race smack in the middle of summer. We have a unique format, and up first, the All-Star Open for bonus points to drivers who desperately need it. Welcome to Pit Stop TV and the virtual Dover, Delaware. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the Bully Dog All-Star Race this season from Dover Motor Speedway. Today's coverage is brought to you by Bully Dog Coffee Company, by All-American Racing Network, and by Whiplash Creative. We have got, for the Open, just 9 drivers fighting for a handful of bonus points in this season's All-Star Race. It is a unique format. We'll go over it here in a moment, but first a look at the racetrack, Dover Motor Speedway. It's only a mile. It's a true oval. It is a lot of fun. And silly me, I've just remembered these guys only get one pace lap before they go racing because this track is a mile. So, the cars work into turns 3 and 4, and they're about to go green for the Open now. And that's going to begin with Howard Peoples on pole position as they work off of turn number 4. Here we go to the start zone, and we'll fill you in along the way. Green flag. Howard Peoples leads us to the green flag of the All-Star Open. Now, I don't know that we needed a big introduction for all 9 drivers in this All-Star Open, but you see Winstone, Peoples, Rovillo, Friel, Essenberg, Fox, Powell, Adams, and Sidrus. Those are your 9. Dakota Sidrus having some issues towards the back of the field. He's actually stopped nearly on the racetrack. He'll get rolling again, but slow down in turns 1 and 2 as it is Chris Winstone leading after 2 laps at Dover Motor Speedway. This is a 25-lap heat race, essentially. And this will pay bonus points to all of these drivers, or at least a handful of them, most of them. It's 10 bonus points to win this race, and that goes towards your championship total. That could be the difference to get one of these drivers in the chase this season. In the wall, Rovillo off of turn 4. Friel looks to the inside. And we only have 9 drivers in this race because this All-Star Open was only open to drivers who are not yet in the chase. We'll look at the point standings if we get a caution or at the end of this one, as that's the dive into turns 3 and 4 for the number 4 and the 2, Essenberg and Rovillo. There isn't a ton necessarily to talk about with this Open. We're kind of just watching these 25 laps and giving these guys a chance to earn some bonus points. And again, Winstone leading. This is big time for the points. He comes into this morning's race 234 below the cut line, so this will only be a drop in the bucket if he's able to win it, but he needs all the drops in the bucket he can get. And frankly, who really needs to win this race would be Corey Powell, who runs currently in the 6th position. There he is off of turn 2, blinking a little bit down the backstretch. Corey enters this race -4 to the cut line. And he's in the wall off of turn 4, got loose, got the wall. He's going to drop down to 7th as Austin Adams will take that spot into turn 1. Good to see Austin here today. I know he hasn't run all the races this season. Austin could use the points as well. Austin actually is 18th in the standings. Enters today 194 out. Chad Fox could also use some points. He enters today, let's see, 33 points out of the chase. So he could really use himself a set of bonus points to get closer to that cut line as we enter the final handful of races before this season's chase format. Weather conditions for the All-Star Open so far today. Ambient temp up there at 79 degrees. The track temp is what's burning these guys, literally and figuratively, 102-degree track temp, and that's only with 9 cars out there. So as we get a little introduction once again to the NASCAR Cup car at Dover Motor Speedway, Just keep in mind, these guys are fighting some warm temperatures as Howard Peoples is keeping Chris Winstone very, very honest out front of the field. Thaddeus Friel is up into the 3rd spot. And hey, if you're watching and you want to get in on the fantasy game for this morning's race, you can still do so. The Discord server is still accepting picks for the All-American Racing Network fantasy game, brought to you by Whiplash Fantasy and Whiplash Creative. So you can still join in, you can still make your picks. In fact, we have extended that time. We have extended that time back to 10:50 a.m. So you still have 43 minutes to make picks. Corey Powell currently working up to Michael Rovillo. This would be for the 6th position once again. On board with car 92. You hear these guys fighting the tires in the corners. You can hear them just squealing a little bit when they turn in. And Powell will have to settle, I think, for that 7th spot for now. Austin Adams pulling up to Jared Essenberg. This could be close. Still time to join the fantasy game. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more as the morning goes on. We only have this 25 lap open. I think Doug was maybe expecting a caution or two. These guys have run through this race absolutely perfectly. No cautions yet. The one misstep was from Dakota Siders back on, I believe, the opening lap. And he has since gotten that car turned back around the right direction. Looks like he got his fast repair maybe. Siders brand new to the series, but I saw, I think, a pick or two for him in fantasy this morning. And then you get to Chris Winstone leading this race. He has still got about a half second over Howard Peoples. Peoples comes over mostly from the truck series here within this league, and he's running today's All-Star race. He is scored as the 28. Robert Hissong still has claim to the 29, but Peoples has a 29 on his car. And while we operate here early in the morning's festivities, a big thank you, of course, to our partners with Pit Stop TV. Left side of your screen there, you see Whiplash Simcams, MXWraps.com, ATVO, Murtis Esports, CC's Business, the North American Racing League, Whiplash Creative, and TZO Designs. And a big thank you to Bully Dog Coffee Company being here all year for 2026. That's a big commitment. Just like their commitment to the coffee industry. Founded by Patrick Bowler with nearly 2 decades of experience in coffee, Bully Dog Coffee Company turns the process of making coffee back into a ritual, better supporting your caffeine needs and local dog shelters in Arizona along the way. Order your first pound of Bully Dog coffee for as little as $15 with promo code FAST10 at checkout. That is promo code, all caps, FAST10 at checkout. 6 laps to go. And you're seeing the battle for the race lead. It's the closest on the racetrack. Howard Peoples doing everything he can to run down Chris Winstone. I ran with Chris in an endurance race at VIR and GT3 cars yesterday. Said he still had to practice for this race, and here he is leading the way. Although he did get the wall pretty good that time off of turn number 4, so he's got to watch out for that as these laps wind down. 5 to go. This is the All-Star Open, paying bonus points to each of these drivers towards the front of the field. I don't know the exact points breakdown. I know it's 10 to win, 5 for second. I think it trails off from there. I'm not sure if it's 1 to the rest of the top 10 or what have you, but We are down to just a handful to go for Winstone, trying to get those 10 bonus points and put himself 10 closer to the chase. It's still a very big task for the 37 to make the chase this season. He missed a handful of races. In fact, he's only got 8 starts to his name. He came in May, I believe. There we go. AARN, Doug Scalis out in the YouTube chat, putting the promo code in. That is bullydogcoffee.com, I do believe. 2 to go. 2 miles in this All-Star Open. The field pretty spread out. There is a battle for 4th. And you never know. This could be a caution right before we hit the white flag. Austin Adams looking around on Jared Essenberg. We'll see what happens. The leaders are coming up to the line now. Chris Winstone, white flag is in the air. This race will go official. No cautions in it, but it's the yellow car out front. Chris Winstone trying to win the All-Star Open and put himself that much closer to the chase this season. And off of turn number 4, he will do it. Chris Winstone to the checkered flag. He wins the All-Star Open at Dover Motor Speedway off of turn 4. There's Thaddeus Friel. And then Austin Adams will get the 4th spot over Jared Essenberg and Corey Powell. Chad Fox will come around in the 7th spot and will be followed up by Mike Rovillo towards the back end of the field. He's got some damage. He took a big hit there at the end. So big problems for the number 2. Thankfully, his car will get reset and he'll be able to get into the All-Star race with no issue. That's the big part of this as well. All of these drivers will advance into the All-Star race. This is not a, have to finish in a certain spot to advance in or anything like that. So these guys do get that opportunity. As here we go, Chris Winstone gets to do some burnouts finally. He's had so many good runs on the road courses and on the ovals. Nearly won that first race that he ran at Watkins Glen back in May. I think these burnouts are deserved. He's been putting in the work, trying to learn the ovals, getting better and better. So how about that for Chris Winstone? Able to do some burnouts here at Dover Motor Speedway. As he continues to get better and better in his oval racing career. Hopefully we see him on track on a Monday again soon too to run those older NASCAR stock cars. But let's go back and take a look at the unofficial race results for us. In the All-Star Open, only 9 cars to go over, of course. But let's take a look at them, as I think we might be pulling Chris Winstone for a quick word after that. There's Winstone with the race win. Howard Peoples second, and Thaddeus Friel in that 3rd spot. Austin Adams, Jared Essenberg. Then you see the back 4. Corey Powell, Chad Fox, Michael Rovillo, and Dakota Sidris. Your 9 drivers that were here for the Open. That's a big points-paying opportunity for Chris Winstone, and I'll go ahead and grab the driver of the 37 and get a word with him. As Chris is able to win the All-Star Open this morning at Dover Motor Speedway. Chris, you and I ran Ferrari GT3 cars at, I can't even think, at VIR yesterday for a couple hours, and here we are. You were still practicing or needing to get practice in for this race today. It seems to have gone well. You just won the Open. That's 10 bonus points. How big is that for you and trying to still make the chase this season?
That's pretty big. I mean, I think the last race kind of might have imploded my chances a little bit, but I think this definitely helps make up for that. So it was nice to be able to get to burn it down, do some donuts. It's finally time for that. So yeah, I definitely didn't realize how tired my arm was though from that stuff yesterday until about 12 laps in. I was like, oh wow, my arm's already starting to get tired. So we'll see how the longer race goes.
Yeah, and Dover's a track that'll wear you out very quickly, just like VIR yesterday. So, knowing that, is there anything that you can do, I guess, to adjust the way you drive or anything like that to help you out in this All-Star race coming up? Still 125 laps to go.
just try not to death grip the wheel so much. I have kind of a bad habit of doing that. It's kind of how I got the tennis elbow thing going on. So hopefully I can just kind of relax. If I can get kind of in a gap somewhere, you know, with some drivers in front, drivers behind, and just kind of get a gap on pace, then that'll help. I can kind of, you know, just relax for a whole bunch of laps, and hopefully that gets me to the end.
All right, well, Chris, good to talk to you. We'll chat with a couple of drivers you just beat, and hopefully we're talking to you in the All-Star race later on.
Sure thing, man. Thank you very much.
Chris Winstone, an actual win in the All-American Racing Network. How about that? It does come with the All-Star Open, but hey, he's going to take it regardless, and it comes over Howard Peoples, who finishes second in this All-Star Open race. And Howard, obviously, I know you don't run the Cup Series, you know, as often as some of these regulars, but this is an opportunity for you to kind of show what you're made of, not just in the Truck Series midweek, but boy, a great start for the day, second place in the Open. How's that make you feel?
Yeah, I had the lead to start the race. Obviously, like you said, I don't run these a lot, so I started in second gear, and that was not the move. And just got behind Chris right there, and he was just a little better than me, and couldn't quite get to him. But yeah, overall, good start. Hopefully, one spot better at the end of this thing.
And of course, this is going to put you with everybody else in the field for the actual All-Star race coming up 125 laps through the heat race and the feature. What's the outlook on that, and how do you plan to manage that?
I think there's going to be a lot of carnage, so staying out the carnage is number one. Surprised we went green in the heat race or the open race there, and yeah, just going to try to stay out the carnage and have a decent finish for Ideal.
There you go, Howard Peoples running for that Ideal Racing team. Congrats, Howard. Hopefully we're talking to you later.
All right, man. See you later.
Second place at the All-Star Open for car 28, and we'll grab Thaddeus Friel, who's able to go third place in the All-Star Open, and needing a sponsor on that Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Thaddeus, a good way to start the morning off. I know it's the All-Star Open, but third place regardless. It's a podium finish and an opportunity to talk to us here. But how was that race behind the wheel, 25 laps straight up, kind of a teaser of what's to come today?
It was really good. I mean, you know, it went clean the whole time, so I can't complain. Peoples and Winstone just took off on that start, and you know, kind of got caught behind Revio. Couldn't really get past them until they kind of hit the wall, and then at that point they were just too far away.
Again, this an opportunity for you to kind of tune up for the All-Star race coming up with a heat race and then a feature against all the rest of the drivers that run this series all the time. And of course, you've gotten into this series as well full-time. Is there a chance to kind of still make the chase for you, and how much are you looking to those guys who you're now going to be up against for the next 125 laps as far as what you should be doing to try and make that chase?
I have to have clean races. I've had a few races where I've fallen, you know, laps down over wrecks and avoidable stuff that I should probably be looking out for. I think as long as I'm in it and I've got a few races, there's a chance. But either way, we just go out there, try to do our best, get some sponsors for veterans and affiliated networking, and go from there.
Hey, Thaddeus, good to talk to you as always. Congrats on the top three, at least in the Open today. Hopefully you make your way up through that All-Star race, and we're talking to you then as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
There you go, Thaddeus Friel with a good start to the morning. The 98 car, third place in the Open today, and hopefully we're talking to at least a couple of these drivers a little bit later on. Of course, the whole field about to be unleashed on Dover Motor Speedway shortly. Thanks for joining us so far. Still a little bit of racing to go. This has just been kind of a teaser of what's to come this morning. We have still got the All-Star race coming up very shortly, and the format for that, by the way, we can go ahead and talk about it a little bit. We'll have a 25 lap heat race. So if we pull up Whiplash SimCam's race details, we just had that 25 lap open. That pays 10 bonus points to win. Chris Winstone gets those. Then we'll have a 25 lap heat race, and that will be in the next session that we're going and joining now. That will set the field for a 100 lap race. So basically it's a 25 lap qualifier, 100 lap race. There is one 4-tire stop required, I believe, under green flag coming up in the feature. And let me actually confirm, because I might have put in the wrong fuel number here, and Let's see, 65% fuel. That's correct. So 65% fuel. Doug told me 85% power, but I also saw 90%. So we'll get clarification on that shortly. But these guys, we'll talk about the car specs. They are dealing with a little bit less power in the car. We can go ahead and pull that up now, actually. The car specs for these NASCAR Cup cars today, if I can find the graphic. There it is. The NASCAR Cup Gen 7, typically on this racetrack, would be 670 horsepower. If we're backing it down to 85%, that would be about 569 horsepower. And then if we're backing that down to 90%, that would be about 603 horsepower. So still right around that number of 600, which still is a little bit more than the previous package of 550. So I think these guys will still take that power for sure. It's still got the lower trim aero package. You see the rest of the specifications there for the current NASCAR Cup car, the Generation 7 NASCAR Cup cars, the Chevrolet, the Ford, and the Toyota. Certainly some rumors flying around about Dodge for 2027, but who knows how much water those hold. But we'll take a step aside as we get ready to go racing in the All-Star race coming up shortly. Still 125 laps of racing to go, and boy, it's going to be a fun one to get this one going today. Do not go anywhere. We got more racing on the way here on Pit Stop TV. Here we go, back up to a restart. Quickly, let's go over the overtime rules. We're about to go back green, but we get 2 laps, a green lap, a white lap, and then checkered. If the green lap is completed, the race is official. If the green lap is not completed, we re-rack and restart, and we do it all over again. After all 3 attempts are used, a caution can end the race. Here we go, green flag back in the air. We are racing again here at California. Already contact there with Joe Lawrence. He's trying to hang on. He pedals the car, but it holds up. No rainwater. Out front is Vicente Salas, and it is Lane Riggs.
A heck of a save by Joe Lawrence as they are single file. Riggs and Salas duking it out, trying to do what they can to fight each other for this win. Riggs is trying to find a way around on the top side, but as they come around, it's going to be white flag in the air presented by Whiplash Sim Cams. We are going to make this race official, and we're going to finish it on my favorite number. White flag is in the air. Riggs underneath Salas for the lead.
For the lead and the win here at Auto Club Speedway, Lane Riggs finally gets down to the inside of Vicente Salas through turns 1 and 2. Can he hold on to it? Side by side still down the back straightaway.
Riggs is going to do everything he can, but he's by himself. He's not going to have the drafting help as Slow is up top, trying to decide who he's going to push. The nose in front goes to Riggs. Slow goes to the bottom.
Big send from Slow. He's going to move up the racetrack now. Brandon Slow driving Lane Riggs to the wall. It's going to be a straight-up drag race down to the stripe. Who's going to get there first? It's going to be, I don't know. Vicente Salas, I think, has done it again.
What a finish!
Wow!
What a run to the end by these drivers. Officially, Salas gets it, and Slow and Riggs tie 17 100ths of a second, 17 1,000ths of a second behind Salas.
Welcome back to the virtual Dover Motor Speedway. We've made it into the official All-Star Race session. And to kick the day off, of course, we do want to take a look at point standings coming into this race today, but we're going to talk to a couple of drivers as well. And you see Zach King atop the point standings, 146 to the good. We'll be talking to him first, then we'll be talking to a driver who's got 6 wins this season, Coulter Clark. And we'll talk to him. He's 4th in the standings. You see, boy, a lot of the wins there right at the top, but Zach King and Sean Hughes still need one. Today could be the day. We'll see. It was Jordan White, though, who won back here in February. That was much earlier this year. You see the chase battle as well. Greg Van Nice just on the in, along with Elijah Mopin, and then Corey Powell just on the out, as he's still chasing that 66 car. Actually now chasing, well, I guess still chasing, yeah, because he didn't get the points he wanted there in the open race, but that position changed last week at Chicagoland. Chad Fox, 33 out. Mark Bender, 68 out. Rovillo, 86 out. And then Christopher Foote, Mike Alley, Robert His Song. We have not seen much out of the 21 or 29 cars lately, but the 2 is kind of right in there. Alley trying to get his way back in. Actually, the numbers swapped there for Rovillo and Alley. It should be Rovillo in the 2 and Alley in the 22. But regardless, you see kind of where these guys are at and how they're trying to track into the chase. And Winstone, a little bit closer now, still needs to do a whole lot of work to get there this season. But he did miss a handful of races to get the season started. As mentioned, though, we'll go ahead and talk to the driver of the 51 who has been absent, at least for a week. Zach, I think maybe your first race missed of the season. How does that change things for you? Obviously, you've still got the points lead, so you're not really hurting in that regard. But that's definitely still a blow to your points and momentum, at least going forward.
Well, I'm just happy. I made it 18 weeks before oversleeping for a race. Yeah, it's been a phenomenal year for this 51 Ford Mustang with Ideal Racing partnership. Yeah, it's been a phenomenal year so far. We've led the points since, I think, race 7. So, really happy with that. Got a win over at Martinsville, which is really shocking and surprising to me. But yeah, it's just been one of those years. Just got to keep performing. Lost the points cushion that we had. Obviously, used the provisional last week, but yeah, very unfortunate, but I mean, it's still going to be a stretch to the finish anyway. It was still going to be a stretch, and hard to keep the points lead from Coulter and everybody, but you know, we're just going to keep digging and see what we can do here.
And it's been a little while since we've talked to you really in any regard, and it's definitely a heads-up battle for the, I'd say, top 5 positions of the standings. That puts you against Sean Hughes, Chris Romano, Coulter Clark, and Jordan White. If there's any, I guess, 2 drivers out of those 4, so half, that you're most worried about, which ones kind of do you feel like are really taking aim at the target on your back?
54 for his wins, and then the 75 for his consistency. Those are really the main 2 that I'm more not worried about, but I know if Coulter gets the regular season championship, he's already got the bonus points for the most wins in laps led. When I had to start at the back, I wasn't able to get any laps led, so yeah, I feel like now we're on an equal playing field. I don't have to start in the back no more for the ovals, and we'll be able to fight and see what we can do. But obviously missing last week was really devastating to our season because we had a really good points cushion even though we had to start at the back and had really bad races with Michigan was one of them, and here earlier in the season, race 3 at Dover. So you know, we're just gonna try to see what we can do and keep focusing forward with this whole meatball ideal team and see what we can put ourselves in a good spot and hopefully win the regular season championship, help our chase points out. It's going to get really tight down there at the finish.
And yeah, some bonus points here in the heat. How much do these first 25 laps mean?
We need this 25 laps to get a feeling for the car, see how fast the tires are going to shred. So, not really got too much speed. Obviously, we're just going to try to handle our own and just put ourselves in a good position for the feature. I mean, yeah, we're going to go for points. If I'm in the position to win the heat, I mean, I don't care if I start 10th. I mean, we've got to start in the back all year, so it won't be anything new if we go out and, you know, quote unquote win the segment and have to start at 10th in the feature. But yeah, it's just going to be about maximizing points from here on out. So obviously want to go get those 10 points. If we can't run top 5, maybe I'll just sandbag and try to finish 10 so I can start on pole for the feature because I know track condition is here. But that green flag pit stop's definitely going to be a strategy changer, and definitely was losing losing sleep over it, trying to figure out when I would be able to pit.
That was going to be my next question, so that answers that. Zach, good to talk to you. Still some time left in practice. Best of luck as you get ready.
Yeah, real quick shout out to my boys MX Raps, Tizio Designs, you Andrew for broadcasting, the whole league. Shout out to Ideal Racing, shout out to Corey Powell, Jen Blossom Designs. And hopefully we're here tonight and we're going to perform and do our thing.
There you go, Zach King. It's been a while since we talked to you. Best of luck today.
Appreciate it.
And he will be ready to qualify here shortly for his run today in this all-star race. We'll go ahead and grab the driver kind of doing the chasing, I suppose, of Zach King in that points lead. 6 wins this season. Coulter still not in that points lead. What is it going to take today to claw just a little bit closer to that 51 and 75 at the top?
I think at this point it's more just keeping my mindset on the chase. I'm not really worried about the points lead. If I get there, I get there. But at this point, we're all so high up in the running order. Like me, King, Hughes, everybody, we're consistently running at the front of the field, and there's points to gain, but definitely not a lot. So I mean, the gap's hard to make up. It's still 30-something points, and just with how many points we get, it's a possibility, but it's not very likely. I would have to go on a pretty big win streak and hope on the downfall of some of those guys. So yeah, just keeping my mindset on the chase.
I know you say it's not super likely, but you do have these 5 points coming up first in this heat race. So how important is it to focus on these first 25 and be the first one to the stripe?
I mean, I'm definitely going to go give it my all, but I definitely don't want to go out there and junk the race car early. I've been making quite a few mistakes here these past couple of weeks, so I gotta find a good rhythm to just stick to, and just keep my head on straight and just stay mentally in the game. So yeah, I'm gonna go push for a win, but definitely don't want to cost myself a good finishing position at the end if it comes down to it.
And other details with that format for today, that green flag pit stop being required, not just recommended and not just required during some time in the race, but required during green flag racing. How difficult is it going to be to fit that in with just 2 change sets in 100 laps of racing?
It's weird. I wish they would have given us just one more set, but I don't really know. I haven't done a whole lot of looking into it. Really, from my point of view, it's just whenever I feel like it. These tires do wear pretty quick. So yeah, I'm just gonna try and make it work where I can and do whatever I feel like will keep me the fastest throughout the whole race.
Walter Clark kind of winging it today. Hey, whatever works, and clearly it's been working to this point. 6 wins so far this season. Coulter, good to talk to you. It's, I think, been a minute since Chicago didn't go so great, but hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Thank you.
Walter Clark, first so far in this practice session. And we've talked with a handful of drivers today now, but we're going to go ahead and grab one more during this kind of pre-race segment. That's going to be the driver of the 24, Greg Van Nice, who currently, Greg, you are 10th on the speed charts, and you got a new paint scheme on that number 24. Chicago was going pretty all right for you until some stuff went on kind of mid-race there, but lately you've been on a trend upwards in this series. How big of an opportunity is it today to kind of get up there with the guys, not just in this heat race coming up, but just in this all-star race as a whole?
I just want to have a clean race today. That's all. That's my biggest focus. And then get a top 10, hopefully. I know that sounds boring for most fans.
And I hope, Greg, we didn't make you just lag out, but I see we just kind of lost you there on the stream. Are you still in the session? Well, it's not looking great for Greg right now. We'll move him back up. If he gets back in, we'll see if we can get a word with him again. But Greg Van Nice maybe having some issues, as we just lost him there on the racetrack. Not sure what's going on for the 24 car. Hopefully he gets back in here shortly. There are some drivers moving around on those timing charts on the left side of your screen. But this gives us an opportunity to look at the fantasy standings and the power rankings coming into this morning's race. We can go ahead and do so. And I suppose we can go ahead and look at the fantasy standings first, since we've been talking about that this morning. And look at that. I've actually moved up into the first place in one of these fantasy games finally. So leading the way in the fantasy game coming into this morning, but I'm sure that's going to change. Sean Hughes, Jordan White right there as well. Zach King has fallen back to the third spot. Windstone's doing all right. That's your top 5. And of course, this is going to reset as we near chase time, but trying to get into the chase first, and you see kind of where things are at. Baumler and Conover down there towards the bottom. Murda's just kind of hanging on. He's back into the top 10 after last week, so it's going to be some fun to see how it all works out. And there's still time to play. We're giving you until about 10:50 Eastern. That's 10 minutes away from now, so 10 more minutes to make your picks. And basically, if you do get over into the server and give it a shot, all it takes is to go pick a driver from each points group. What does that mean? Well, the driver's points are divided into 3 groups, just 1, 2, and 3, and it's done so based on position. So you've got to pick a driver from the front of the field, a driver from kind of the mid-pack, and a driver from the back. And then you pick a fast lap winner and a win. That's it. 5 things you got to pick. It takes about 2 minutes to do. It does not, and you don't have to overthink it. It does not take a rocket scientist to get through, and you can pick anybody as long as you're not picking the same person in the points groups back-to-back weeks. That's really the only stipulation, just to make sure we're moving around and picking a handful of drivers and not just picking the same guy each week. So really just that one stipulation. Mix up your picks from time to time. Otherwise, if you're a driver, you can pick yourself, as long as you're not picking yourself in back-to-back weeks. And it doesn't matter who you pick for the fast lap or the win. You can pick whoever you think will get each of those accolades today. So it's a pretty fun game. We've been doing so in for the NASCAR Cup Series, as well as a handful of leagues here on Pit Stop TV, and there's a handful more that we'll be bringing it to later this fall and through the winter. So stay tuned on everything Pit Stop TV. You can just join the Discord server anyways and see everything we've got going on, including our broadcast schedule as we move forward to the rest of 2026. Our August schedule should be up very, very soon, and you see all of our socials across the social media landscape, including TikTok out there, which we've got live for the broadcast today. Good to have you guys watching. It's been a lot of fun, including TikTok in our offerings and our platforms here at the channel. The power rankings coming into this morning's race. There you go. Coulter Clark on top, 83.5. We did adjust the algorithm slightly, so these numbers might have taken a bit of a hit or a boost with that. So don't put too much stock in it versus Chicagoland's numbers last week, but there you see the top 10. And there you can see kind of how that all compares to the lap times on the left side of your screen, kind of who's fast and who's not. Maybe who's looking for a little more speed in this morning's event. I gotta say, how about Howard Peoples, top 5 in practice? He is running really, really solidly, and he was good there in qualifying. Had that great qualifying run, but definitely has a little bit of work to do. And well, hello. Looks like we have a handful of viewers actually over on the TikTok side. Welcome to this morning's event. But 2 minutes and change to go in practice. We'll look around the field just a little bit as you see the power rankings there, bottom right of your screen. Jordan White on the move up after his win last week at Chicagoland. There he is in the number 83. Certainly wish him the best of luck today. In addition, we also have, let's see, Cameron Combs is back in the field. There's Zach King. Get a look at his number 51 car. Been a little while since we've seen him. I say that because he did run Sonoma a few weeks ago, but there was a week in between Sonoma and Chicagoland, and he didn't run Chicagoland. So good to see the driver of the 51 back today. Chris Winstone out there after winning the Open. There he is in 8th. Elijah Mopin in the number 66. He's recently gone over and joined the dark side, it feels like, over at Ideal. I kid, Corey, I kid. But Corey actually just picked at our fantasy game for the first time. So good to see that for Corey Powell. We'll be including him as we go forward, I suppose. And Corey, let's see. Currently 19th in practice. Big hit for Elijah there off of turn 2. Thankfully, he gets to reset and go back at it as there's Corey Powell in the number 92 car. And Chris Winstone just jumped up to 7th place. It's actually faster now than the spring winner here at Dover, Jordan White. So how about that? Moving things around. And Chris Romano, very quietly, is in 4th place so far in practice. He's been one of the hottest drivers in this series lately. Has been racking up a few wins. Certainly has a few more to go as he is 4th in this session. Joe Conan is here today in the number 72. There's his chrome number 72 car. Mentioned Dakota Sidrus earlier. There he is. He's made it into the All-Star race. And there is Greg Van Nice in the 24. Not sure why he's stopped there inside of turn 3, but we're just glad to see him back in the field. Maybe we'll try and talk to him during the race a little bit later on as practice comes to a close here for this morning's festivities. Qualifying then on the way. We'll take a look through this, I believe, 5-minute qualifying session as these guys get ready to go racing this morning for some points. Still some time to make fantasy picks, 5 minutes to get them in. And I gotta say, we don't have that many picks, right? Actually, no qualifying. Are we doing a random draw? How about that? I didn't realize we were doing a random draw. That's actually really cool. That was not expected at all. This is going to shake things up. Well, let's go ahead and go through your grid then. I did not expect this. Here you go. Jared Essenberg on pole. He's got Cameron Combs over his right shoulder. Row 2, though, Chris Winstone. How about the track position here for this? Elijah Mopin rolls off from 4th. All of these drivers up front. Golly. Cameron Combs, a big opportunity for him for this heat race. Greg Van Nice, Chad Fox there, 5th and 6th. Back in row 4, Jordan White. Not too bad a track position in the random draw, it looks like. Thaddeus Friel, though, from 8th. He could do all right as well. And then to complete your top 10, Michael Alley and Sean Hughes. A little farther back, Michael Rovillo alongside Zach King. They've got some work to do along with Joe Conan and Howard Peoples, 13th and 14th. Casey Gross and Coulter Clark deep in the field here to start this heat race off with Doug Scalise in 17th, Chris Romano in 18th. Dakota Sidrus towards the back of the field with Corey Powell back there. And finally, Austin Adams. A spin already. Sidrus off the pit lane. He has been struggling getting these cars to work for him, but he'll get a chance to regroup with the field. A quick look at the Whiplash SimCam's race details one more time. This is a 25-lap heat race. There is no pit stop required in this, but there is in the feature. We'll talk more about that later on. Really, these guys just need to go out there and race for 25 laps and see who wins it. The weather conditions, track temp still toasty, and that ambient temp is working upwards. So we might see some track temps climb closer to 110. It is warm here in virtual Dover, Delaware this morning, and here we go into the restart zone. Off of turn number 4, the green flag is in the hands of Barney the Flagman. Green flag for Jared Essenberg and Cameron Combs. Already some wheel spin on the start, but we are racing in the All-Star Race heat race. Three wide off the second corner. Conan in the inside wall. Thaddeus Friel scatters to the inside. Caution is out. And that's going to be for Conan in the 72. He's got big time left side damage. The whole field comes down to a slow on the front straightaway. Combs the race leader, and we have halted our progress These caution laps, I can tell you, are not counting, actually. So caution laps not counting. I'll preserve these laps here in this heat race. As, again, picks are open for another about a couple of minutes. This is your time. If you're going to make your picks, make them now in the Pit Stop TV Discord server. We've got just a little bit longer. Here's the start of the race. See the wheel spin from Rovillo and the 2 on the inside, and watch that 72. That's who really ends up biting the dust here off the second corner. He's racing with Zach King. Friel checks up, and that might have been what affected the 72 of Conan, and boom, in the inside wall. Big damage back across the racetrack slightly. The good news for Conan is he gets a car reset from the heat race to the feature, so the day is not done for him. In fact, this is a good reminder, we do have a fast repair even in this heat race, so there are fast repairs all throughout the day's format. And you saw it there from the onboard of Conan. The 98 checking up there right in turn 2, just kind of bottles the 72 up. He has to put some extra wheel into it there on the inside, and that just brings the car around, hits the inside wall. And that's a good bit of damage to that Chevrolet Camaro. He has not taken the fast repair yet, it looks like. Might not know that he has one. And picks have been locked for the day for that fantasy game. We had a couple of buzzer beaters. King, Powell, even Zach Murtis making sure he got his picks in. Oh, I see. If I had just looked back over at the YouTube chat, Doug would let me know there was no qualifying. Thank you, Doug. So a random draw to seed the heat race, shaking things up big time, and this actually puts Essenberg back out front. He has got the lead coming across the straight. These guys will double up, re-rack, restack, as they say. Cameron Combs on the outside, Chris Winstone, Elijah Mopin, Jordan White, your top 5. As these guys get ready to restart, it'd be a great opportunity to head back over to BullyDogCoffeeCompany.com. Again, use that promo code, all caps FAST10 at checkout, and make your first bag of coffee from Bully Dog as low as $15. Which, frankly, that's like a combo at most any fast food chain right now. Plus maybe an extra couple of dollars. So, I mean, do you want the Baconator meal, or do you want a bag of premium coffee from Bully Dog Coffee Company? That's my question to you for the morning. Here we go into turn 4 and the restart zone. Jared Essenberg, Cameron Combs, the front row. One lap complete in the All-Star Race heat race, and green flag off of turn 4. Let's try this again. Crashing! It's Peoples around in the back. Not just any Peoples, Howard Peoples. Problems for the 29 car. He'll get reset. Looks like some wheel spin again here on the restart of the race, I suppose. Some checkups there on the top side. Peoples tries to hit the gas. King didn't go very far, and then Peoples just got loose. Big damage for Coulter Clark trying to get by. These guys still have relatively cold tires, and boy, these restarts not helping. Here's the onboard. And around went the 28 car of Peoples. That'll put them to the back of the field as these guys have to reset once again. that definitely did not go by design for these guys. And here we go, some pit stops. Jordan White coming in. I'm surprised by this. He's going to bring Clark, as well as Romano, Conan, and Peoples, all coming into the pit lane. I'm really not sure why. I understand it for Coulter Clark. He's got that damage. In fact, he just passes straight through. He didn't actually even stop in the pit lane. May have missed his box. I'm a little confused by the move for Romano and for White. There's Romano. 10 seconds. That looks like a 2-tire stop to me. 4 tires, though, it looks like for White, possibly. Unless it was just fuel and damage repair. Well, I don't see any damage on either one of those race cars. See if we get the 1 to go signal this time for these guys across the stripe. It looks like we will be. In which case we'll hold off on any kind of further interviews while we wait on this pace lap to wrap up and for us to go back racing. Then we can take a look at what's upcoming for us at Pit Stop TV. The next few broadcasts for us, there you see, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, plus a Saturday show coming up this coming week for the iRacing Hill Climb community. That'll be at Mount Washington, of course. But the next 3 for us, there you see, Monday night, the Nora Retro Cup Series at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And then tentatively, we're trying to gauge some interest if we want to run Legends back this week at Charlotte. Keep an eye on that in the Pit Stop TV Discord server. If you want to run it, let us know. But we will have those Legends in action on Thursday alongside the Sarah Orsman Ford of Manassas National Tour. That'll be at Langley Speedway this weekend, or this Thursday, I should say. Late model stocks at Langley. Legends to open up the night. Twin 25s there that evening. Make sure to keep up with everything Pit Stop TV for all of these broadcasts and more, all across the social media landscape. Restart on the way once again for us out of turn number 4. Chris Winstone and Elijah Mopin going to try and take advantage if either the 4 or 15 slip up. Green flag. Oh, big hit. Friel, King, and more. They're crashing off the second corner. Big accident in the back. Romano's around. You see King still pinballing. There goes Austin Adams crashing some more. A big accident off of turn number 2. And it all seemed to start with this guy. Thaddeus Friel has got a ton of damage. Slow going in this heat race. It was a fully green flag open a little while ago, and then off of turn 2, Friel just gets loose, checks up, and boom, there was King, Gross, Adams, Hughes, Romano, everybody, it feels like, towards the back of the field involved in this. This is a properly big crash off of turn number 2. And so those guys that just pitted and went to the back of the field, man, they were in this. Hughes got a big piece. King, Gross, Adams, Romano. King backed across the racetrack, and that just involved a couple more. Wasn't much Zach could do here in turn 2 when the 98 checks up, comes across his nose, but from there, he backs up right here. That nearly takes out Jordan White, and it didn't really catch out Conan. Conan, I think, would have been in it regardless, but man, oh man. Some really big hits. Let's see this from Coulter Clark's perspective. Just all unfolds in front of him really quickly. He mostly gets through it, but does get a piece of it. You see it all happening behind. Romano nowhere to go. That is a big blow for somebody who's been a lot of fun to watch lately. Here's his on board. Wow. I will say, I think we do have a Murtis Esports mega miss in all of this, and I think it's going to happen for the Murtis Esports development driver of Jordan White. Here's his on board. As it starts happening, boy, Cydrus might have had one as well, but Jordan White, that was very close. Didn't look like it from there, but if we go back to an overhead, check this out for the 83 car. See it all happening right there, and King nearly backed across into that 83. That could have been disastrous for last week's winner. It's going to give us an opportunity to restart. You see a few cars in the pit lane, though. Coulter Clark is down there, Casey Gross is down there, and Joe Conan just came into the pit lane as Cameron Combs is going to lead us around to the restart. We may not have a full field for this restart. A couple of cars still in the pit lane. Those are the 77 and the 54. But here comes Cameron Combs. Going to lead us back to the green with Chris Winstone alongside. Elijah Mopin, Micro Villa, row 2. Green flag, back in the air. And Cameron Combs is absolutely picking up and driving away from this field. He has got nearly a 3/4 of a second lead over Chris Winstone already. We've only gone now 2 laps off the second corner, or fourth corner this time. We are catching lap traffic pretty quickly as you see them file off of turn number 4. Winstone second, Mopin, Rovillo, third and fourth. Cydrus in the top 5. Maybe not for long. Yeah, there we go. King, excuse me, King gets by. Here comes the 83 of White. As Cydrus taps the wall. And Jordan White will make that pass. Finally getting some laps here in this heat race. Again, this is going to set the lineup for the 100-lap All-Star race that will also have a mandatory 4-tire green flag pit stop. So now that these guys are getting in a slight bit of a rhythm, they're starting to get an idea of what the rest of the morning and possibly into the afternoon may look like. Oh, and in the wall, big time, was Combs there off the second corner. He taps the wall as he chases down the 54 of Coulter Clark, who's already 1 lap behind. I've had a nice spot all the way back on the racetrack, but Conan and Gross still in the pit lane. Battles back here, Adams and Essenberg on board with Austin Adams. Good battle here. Cydrus still falling back. That's down a nice spot for the 64 now. Austin Adams is actually by the car he was just battling, I believe. And this... Oh, Essenberg is having connection difficulties. That's what it is. But right behind this, you see Doug Scalise. He's going to get to the inside of Cydrus. That is for position at number 9. Chad Fox tries to come on through. That will fall apart as here comes Friel to the inside. He has got that fast repair working nice and tidy for him. Up to the 11th spot now, trying to make his way back towards the front. Everybody settling back into a rhythm for the first time in the heat race, as Cameron Combs works to chase down the 54 car, who is, again, 1 lap down on the verge of 2, and did take his fast repair. So the 54 is repaired, and on about the same tires as these guys leading. Combs, though, running about 2 seconds up on Windstone, moping with, look at that, Zach King right to the inside. They'll do battle, and this is going to bring Jordan White into that fight. 3 cars then battling for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. In the wall is Jordan White as Casey Gross gets back on the racetrack. Going to try to run a couple of laps and get ahead of Joe Conan here. And is that a pass, maybe? King around moping, yes it is. That is a change of position at 3rd place. As there are great battles all throughout the field. Look at this gaggle of cars still fighting. Cydrus dropping down. Here comes Romano on through to 15th. I would argue this guy has been one of the biggest, if not the biggest, all-star lately. It seems like every track we go to, he's in the conversation, even more so than Coulter Clark or Jordan White. So Romano, a lot of work to do if he wants to have a decent starting spot here for this all-star race, but even once we get to it, 100 laps to figure it out, plenty of time for him to work through some cars and at least get towards the front of the field. And this is different from most all-star races in that this is a points-paying event for these drivers, so they do have to worry about it. They are earning points for where they finish in the feature race today, and a few bonus points as well for this heat, which, by the way, I would never have put Windstone down as potentially winning the Open and the heat, but if anything happens to this 15 car, I mean, it's a possibility. I do think Cameron's got the heat figured out at this point. We're inside of 10 to go, but should we have a caution, some pit stops, anything? Windstone is certainly holding Combs honest at the very least. Position change at 4th place. Peoples gets on by Mopin. Here they come into turn 1, and look at that battle. Sean Hughes is putting pressure now on Jordan White. This would be for 5th, 6th rather, and Jordan does fall back. So the 83 falling backwards here on this longer run, not getting along with the racetrack at all. And the biggest question right now is going to be this top 10. Who's going to invert to the front? And if you're playing the invert, Thaddeus Friel is in that spot right now. This would put Scaleless, and I wonder if maybe that's what White is doing. If he's trying to play the invert, trying to fall back a little bit, he would be starting 4th currently if the race ended now and went racing for the feature. That could be part of it for the 83 car, as Friel, again, is currently in that spot, and we heard Zach King talking about maybe playing the invert. He's up in 3rd instead, so he's going to start 8th or so in this feature race here in a few minutes. Look at this, though. Jordan White, Mike Rovillo, Doug Scaleless. Are these guys all trying to play the invert for a starting spot in the feature? Casey Gross is in this. Casey's 10 laps down, so he's kind of just hanging out around these guys as Jordan White is going to try and maybe let that 2 car go. Who grabs the apron down in turn 1. Thaddeus Friel, does he know about the invert? He passes Doug Scaleless for that spot. Rovillo and White still going after it here. And Zach King has just had a bit of a misstep. He is down 2 seconds the last lap. He's checking up big time. Is he playing the invert maybe? He's going to fall back to 6th. Maybe 7th, maybe 8th. Here's the battle for that invert. Friel currently in that spot. White's kind of picking up now. Contact there. Scalus and Ravillo. And yeah, Zach King is absolutely sandbagging right now to get back to these guys. He said pretty much outright that he might do it. He's in the wall. They're off of turn 2. They're crashing, maybe. Hang on to it, guys. There's the white flag. It's official now regardless. And an opportunity for Romano. Here he comes into 12th now. Could he get a couple more spots and start on pole for the All-Star race? There's Scalus, 4 wide across the stripe into turn 1. They're all trying to be 10th. Cameron Combs is off of turn 4 to win the heat race and take 10 points. 5 points, rather. Here's the battle to be 10th. King is checking up. Romano's there. In the spot currently is Essenberg, who's going to be 10th at the stripe. Off of turn number 4, Zach King plays it right. Maybe not. No, he does. Crashing across the stripe. Romano is in it. Wow, what drama just to be 10th place. Romano will have to start 11th. King will start in 1st. All as Cameron Combs wins the heat race, and we get ready immediately to go feature racing. I've never seen drivers want to lose so badly. That was incredible for maybe all the wrong reasons. Well, we'll take a look then at the lineup for this feature race. There you go, Zach King on pole in car 51. As everybody has to reset and get back into racing mode here. King on pole, Essenberg from 2nd. We'll see what they can do on the front row for today's 100-lap All-Star race. There's Doug Scalus and Austin Adams in row number 2. Back in row 3, you'll find Jordan White and Sean Hughes. A little farther back, Elijah Mopin and Howard Peoples. 7th and 8th, Chris Winstone and Cameron Combs, followed by Chris Romano and Thaddeus Friel. But a little farther back, Corey Powell, Michael Ravillo, Chad Fox, Dakota Sidrus. As King drives right through our camera, I bet he was watching the broadcast for that. A few more guys doing so as they work off of the pit lane here. Clark and Vad Nice will start deep in the field, along with Gross, Conan, and Alley. I actually don't know that we'll see Conan or Alley, as one car is starting from the pit lane. That is Austin Adams. Make that 2 cars, actually. Adams will do so as well as Conan. They will both start from the pits here, as Zach King will lead us around. Or maybe not. Has he gone to the rear of the field? He has. Zach King has gone to the rear of the field for the start, and I doubt that was by choice. So Jared Essenberg will take control, and all of that invert playing by King is for naught. He will start from the back for this all-star race. Essenberg will lead us around to the green flag with Scalus on his inside. And here we go, off of turn 4, green flag in the air. We are racing in this season's All-American All-Star race. Spinning off of turn 4, maybe, or 2 rather, they save it. They save it, we're still green. That splits the field big time as Coulter Clark tries to get around Chad Fox, and leading lap 1 in the All-Star race, Doug Scalus. It's a big lap lead for the 16 car, starting the day off right. And from here on out, it's points paying. Is in the wall already. Romano, more trouble today. This has been a day to forget, and that car is junk. Thankfully, he's got a fast repair, as does Mopin, who is absolutely destroyed up on the outside wall. He's not going very far anytime soon. I don't think that car is even going to refire. It does, actually. So Elijah will bring that car back to the pit lane after just one lap of racing. Here's what happens with Elijah Mopin off of turn number 2 down the back stretch. Jordan White got the wall really, really hard, and that checked them all up, and then into turn 3. Oh, man. What even happened there? Mopin was checking up, and it looks like he just got ran over. Yeah, he was checking up for Jordan White. And then into turn 3, Romano just hits him. I mean, Romano was definitely trying to avoid him, but did not manage to do so. Here's the onboard for Chris. Ended up locking up, got on the brakes very quickly to try and miss the 66 car, but not able to do so. Get one more look at this. Just was not ready for that at all. Ends up plowing in the back of the 66 car, sends Elijah around, and they will both have to take a fast repair if they want to stay in this race. And Elijah has done exactly that. They both have. They both have taken a fast repair. They are back in this thing. Mopin, though, one lap down after all of this, so he's going to have to rely on a couple more cautions to get back in this race, it looks like, as already some guys taking some tires off the board for themselves, and that is not what you want less than 10 laps into this race. So we will restart this time by and send these guys back around on just lap number 6 of this season's All-Star race. It has been a struggle just to get these guys going. This racetrack is not easy, though. Makes it perfect for a driver's race like the All-Star race. Here we go, into the restart zone. Scalus, Essenberg, your front row. Green flag. And some lane changes in the wall big time as Essenberg. We might be bringing it back already. Maybe not. Caution. And there goes Ravilla. There's the onboard from the 2 car. Ends up getting into Windstone in the aftermath of the crash for Essenberg and becomes the crash down in turn 1. Let's see what happened to the 04 though, to the stripe. Restarted second, mashed the gas, and just got loose. Hits the wall there twice. 3 times. And so we continue on under caution. This time it's Scalus out front, and boy, that track position going to help early here. These guys, though, need to get some green flag laps if they want to make their pit stop that's required. While they finish up some pacing under this caution, we'll take a quick step aside and be right back for the restart. Welcome back to the virtual Dover Motor Speedway. There goes the field, re-racked and restacked, ready to go for 91 laps remaining in this all-star race, the first of its kind in the All-American Racing Network. And here we go off of turn number 4. We'll get this race restarted, hopefully for a while. Green flag, 91 to go. Restart underway, and a lane change there out of a race leader. Here comes the 15 of Combs into turn number 1, this time by. He parks it on the inside of the racetrack, gets the spot over Doug Scalise, and will lead off of turn number 2. Howard Peoples taking advantage of the restart. Thaddeus Friel into the top 5. How about Winstone and Clark right behind? Clark, though, ahead of Winstone. Vad Nice is here as well. Let's go on board the 24 car. Riding on board with car 24, watching all the battles ahead. There's even a few behind. I mean, these guys are active on this racetrack all across it. You see the side-by-side ahead. That is Scalise on the outside, Clark down low. Position change there. Vad Nice trying to follow on through once Winstone gets there. And up the racetrack, you see them using the entirety of the racetrack down in turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Here comes Coulter Clark with a move to the inside of Friel. This is for position number 4, pass made. Winstone now takes a look up at the 16 car. No dice yet. Now he might have him into turn 1. And he does. Now King working on the 16 car of Scalise. See Casey Gross ahead. Thankfully, he's recovered after his mishaps in that heat race. King able to get by the 16. Jordan White, Michael Rovillo, they're fighting further back. So in a race with a very unique format, Rovillo in the wall. Hang on to it, buddy. He does. And there's Winstone getting ahead of Friel. Maybe bobbles big time off the corner. And Winstone's going to have the edge, I think, off of turn 2. Maybe not. Friel will go ahead, and that's going to bring Vad Nice on the inside. Great battle here between these three guys. And at the front, now that we're starting to get some laps in, these guys have to start considering, if we're going to have a very caution-heavy race, do we want to take this 4-tire stop early? The problem there, obviously, you don't want to burn your sets of tires too early in this race. Only 2 change sets in this feature, as we're on board with Sean Hughes in second, trying to chase down Cameron Combs. And Jacobs deep in the field. Look at this pack off of turn 4. Friel, Winstone, King, and Gross. Of course, that random draw at the start of the race, I think, was the biggest shakeup to the entire thing. That moved everybody around, and that was for the heat race, obviously, but that random draw really shook up the entire afternoon for these guys. Everybody in a different spot, and they probably would be if we had qualified. So I think that was a big win as far as the race format goes. Mix this thing up, make these guys work for it in some cases. Speaking of working for it, Coulter Clark Look at the stat line. Started 17th. It's only lap 21. He's working on 3rd place. And sure enough, gets the nose ahead briefly. Hanging on to the outside of Peoples. Doesn't have the spot of the line, but wait a lap, but I think he's going to have it. And there we go, down into turn 3. Sure enough, Coulter Clark will clear and take that spot away. So, pit stop actually. I see Chad Fox in the pit lane. Could this be his 4-tire stop? Does he want to make sure he gets it in early? Chad Fox is in. There go the right side. I dare say this will be that 4-tire stop for the 12 car. And we've got ourselves a fight brewing for the race lead. Sean Hughes has run down Cameron Combs. It's good to see these two at the front. They each have the talent to do it. We've seen that several times over. They just have not had the luck lately to actually fight for this spot. Jared Essenberg now in the pit lane, taking his 4-tire stop. You see the gap from 1st to 2nd to 3rd to 4th. Top 4 lap times in the bottom of your screen. Cameron Combs, Sean Hughes, Coulter Clark, Howard Peoples. Last lap around, the fastest of these 4 is actually a race leader, Cameron Combs. I think that might change here, and yeah, he checked up. Hughes got a little faster, Clark got a little faster, Peoples got a little faster. But of these 4, Cameron Combs the best lap so far in this race. And there goes Dakota Sidrus to the pit lane. So more drivers starting to make their way to the pits to make sure they get this stop in early. I think it's worth considering for one of these leaders. Pull an undercut, get that 4-tire stop out of the way. You're going to have to manage tires for sure the rest of the day, but make sure you're good on these tires early. This is going to be an interesting little format. As Coulter Clark is reeling these two in, and Howard Peoples might be doing so as well. Vad Nice is 5th, King is 6th. They're all kind of sitting stagnant back there in the rest of the top 10. But at the front, things are really starting to look a little more interesting as Combs goes high that time in 3 and 4. He's going to scrape the outside wall. He was that high up the racetrack, but gets the run back off the corner. And into pit lane now, that was Romano. So Romano is in, making sure he gets his stop done. Four tires there for car 44, and a battle off of turn 4. Coulter Clark caught and immediately passed the 75 of Sean Hughes. That splits up the battle for the race lead. And suddenly, driver 54, 6 wins on the season already, is looking up at the potential of number 7. And here we go, another pit stop. This is Doug Scalise coming in this time. And certainly you want to wait as long as you can here, but how long can you afford to stall on this pit stop? I don't know. No pit stops yet out of the leaders here on this run. Here's a run from Jourdain White, though, to the inside of Casey Gross. That's for 8th position, so Jourdain grabbing another spot here in that number 83. That bumps him up just a little bit more. And again, with points being paid out in this race, every spot is going to matter, just like any other race. But maybe slightly more focus on it for some of these guys, because being that this is an all-star race, you don't typically expect points. But this could really help a handful of these guys. Lap car head, that's Joe Conan. He's going to pull down to the inside and pit. Never mind, he's actually not pitting. He's just taking it to the inside of the racetrack. A little bit of time to get back up to speed. The next car on and will actually be the top car that is pitted, and that is Chris Romano. Battle for 4th, maybe. Howard Peoples under pressure as Joe Conan will not hit the pit lane along with Jared Essenberg. Pit stops from those two unraveling their days, but battle here for 4th. Howard Peoples, Greg Van Nice. You hear Greg pedaling the throttle, kind of trying to get a little gas, begging for some rotation, not finding it. Meanwhile, Jourdain White putting some pressure now on teammate Chris Winstone. This is position number 7. And so far today, easily the most impressive driver in my mind has been the 15 of Cameron Combs. He got the track position he needed for sure, but he has done a fantastic job of putting himself back in position. He hasn't led every lap of this race. And when we get to driver of the day in about 50 more laps, I mean, this has to be a consideration. I think both of these top two, Combs and Clark. A bunch of lap leads already, or a bunch of laps led already for the 15 car. I'll get there eventually. The 15 car. And the 54 of Clark certainly has done a great job of moving through the field to get back up here and fight for the race lead, even before the end of the first half of this race. White is on by Winstone, and you see Romano now look up at the 37 car, trying to wonder if he can get by. Battle for the lead, kicking up, lap traffic ahead. That's Chad Fox. Here's the run. Coulter Clark pokes his nose to the inside, and he will take it away. And off of turn number 4, Coulter Clark to the point at Dover. You know, last time we covered a Dover race, it was actually not this race back in the spring, but last time we covered one was when the BRB Sundance Pro Series came here earlier this season. And it was Coulter Clark who stole victory in that one. He didn't use the door to do it, but he clearly has something going on for him with Dover Motor Speedway. It is not every day you see Coulter drive through the field like this. I mean, he certainly is talented. He certainly has the capabilities, but the last handful of weeks have been really, really rough on him. Pit stop. Combs has come in. That makes sense. Van Nice also came in. I was watching Van Nice's time. He comes in for what looks to be 4 tires, actually. I gotta remind myself, the iRacing pit stops were just updated, literally just within the last week. So, that nice, that's 4 tires now, the 10-second pit stop. Here's what Combs will do. And this is just around halfway. This is the perfect time, I think, if you've not yet pitted, come and get those tires, get that fuel, head back out. 10.4 seconds there for Combs. He will head back onto the racetrack. I don't think you can afford to waste any time for anybody else. And there goes Combs, going a second lap down to race leader Coulter Clark. That's the delta from just pitting. Give it a lap or so here, and that 15 will go straight on by the 54 car. The drop-off so far in these tires is over a second. As here we go, Sean Hughes hits the pits. And this time by will be cross flags. Gotta wonder when these drivers will decide to pit at the front of the field. There is Coulter Clark. He will have the lead at the stripe this time by. So Clark leads to halfway by 5.5 seconds. No contest right now from behind. The battle for third starting to spark up. King, White, Winstone, and Gross all near each other. I wouldn't say battling just yet, although these two could be fighting soon. And Thaddeus Friel comes in. Good move, I think, out of the 98 car. Here we go. King is in. Winstone follows. And here comes Coulter Clark. He is going to respond up the racetrack. Will make it back down onto the apron, and he will respond to the pit stops. Howard Peoples continues. Jordan White will continues. AC Gross continues. Here's what Malpin will do. From there, it'll just be Corey Powell left to pit. And here goes Zach King. 4 tires on the car. Down and away, right there. Drop of the jack. He lights up the rears. Winstone follows him off. And Coulter Clark has made it into the pit lane and back out. 4 tires and fuel done just like that for car 54. He'll head back on the racetrack. Thankfully, these guys got this green flag run to fit these stops in, because I know there was some concern about actually making the stop under green. Here comes Romano, by the way. Winstone has to come back into the pits, it looks like. Was this a speeding penalty, maybe? On pit exit for Winstone. Was it an unsafe exit, maybe? This is huge for the 37 car. That's going to send him right to the back. As Casey Gross continues on, and the battle for the first car off the pit lane, by the way, is pretty set and steady. Coulter Clark about 1.5 seconds up on Sean Hughes. Then it's Greg Van Nice and Cameron Combs, Zach King, and Chris Romano. Here comes Peoples to the pit lane. Lap traffic ahead. Jordan White trying to get low. Could he be pitting soon? He did pit just 50 laps ago under one of the cautions earlier. no! Casey Gross, hang on to it. Adams and Mopin, they battle. Mopin off the pit lane. Really, it's going to be Adams and Scaleless. A couple of the Bully Dog cars side by side. And battle for the race lead. Jordan White, Casey Gross still trying to figure this out. Casey goes on ahead. White will take to the pit lane. I think. No, he's going to keep going. Did he miss it that time? This is only costing White precious, precious time. He won this race. I can't say this race, but he won at this racetrack back in February. And I thought he'd be a favorite to win today, but as time goes on, he will finally hit the pit lane, but he lost a lot of time in that. In fact, there goes Coulter Clark unlapping himself to White. And now this guy could use a caution. That would trap a lot of the field a lap down and give him a chance to pit for free. Not a whole lot going around the racetrack. I just keep watching Tommy and scoring. There is this little fight brewing up. This is Zach King working on Howard Peoples. See Joe Conan right ahead and Chris Winstone behind. Winstone is down in 18th, 6 laps down. He has spent a handful of trips through the pit lane at this point. So another big missed opportunity for Winstone this week. He kind of fumbled the bag at Chicagoland last week. No different here today, unfortunately. Circumstances certainly getting the best of him here at Dover. Yet to pit, though, our top two, Casey Gross and Corey Powell. They've got to be hoping to run this out to a caution flag. I can't imagine they can go much farther. They've run 65 laps on these tires and fuel. King going to work now on Cameron Combs. This will be for 6th spot. You're still watching the race leader, kind of just waiting on Gross to pit. It's clear racetrack ahead, and I'm trying to figure out kind of where Combs and King are on the racetrack. Here they are, turns 3 and 4, so really not a concern right now to the race leader of Casey Gross, as one more is hitting the pit lane. That is going to be Chad Fox hitting the pits again. I think he pitted so early, he's got to do it again. And this is where the business really is. So for context, Combs in the 15 and King in the 51 are battling. Peoples in the 28 is as well. But the 98 is 2 laps down. That's Thaddeus Friel. He is not in this 4 position. Also, pit stop for Powell the last lap, and here comes Casey Gross into the pit lane. This will turn the race over to Coulter Clark. As there you see the 77 go up on the jacks. It's a nice lead so far for Coulter Clark. He leads by about 2.9 seconds actually. And all the rest of the field needs right now is a caution flag, as Coulter is absolutely driving away. Here comes Combs on the inside of the 24 of Vad Nice. Combs has 1 lap better tires. That's not much. That's a lot of the driver doing the work there. Zach King looks up ahead now from the 5th position. So the battle right now on the racetrack is really 3rd through 6th. As Adams, a lapped car, will fall behind the 51 of King. So no position change there. The 51 is looking up at the 15 car for position. That would be for 3rd spot. As we are inside of 30 laps to go at Dover Motor Speedway. This has been, of course, the All-Star race for the All-American Racing Network. Coulter Clark has taken the race lead over at this point by some 3.2 seconds. All we need now is a competition caution or something. Mix this field back up and give us another restart. I'm looking through fantasy picks and I see a few picks for car 54. I did not myself. I picked him last week, so I can't add him on my team today. But Zach King picked the 54. I mean, looking through, Kevin Baumler picked him. Josh Conover picked him. Battle for 12th. That is Friel, Austin, Adams. Here is that fight into turn 3. Chad Fox right behind. Chad is a few more laps down, so no concern there from the 12 car. Adams is battling with the 98, and at least was battling. And then Vad Nice working on Howard Peoples. This is the gap, bottom right, from the 24 to the 28. As you can tell, it has gotten very quiet on the racetrack in terms of drivers being frustrated and having accidents, things like that. Things have toned way down since the early portions of the morning. So nearly down to 20 laps to go, and it is all car 54, just kind of running lockstep formation, trying to get the laps complete. There you see Coulter Clark leading. The driver out of Norman, Oklahoma. Showing these guys maybe his Christopher Bell side. Interesting. We've been green for a long time now, and if you look back at the CC's Business race stats, we had those 2 cautions very early in this race, and since then we've been very green. Since, what was it, lap 9 or so that we restarted? So working on 70 laps, green flag continuously. Again, some drivers would appreciate a caution right now. This guy, I know, would not. Battle back here for 4th, 5th, and 6th still. Really, it's 5th and 6th. There's the onboard with Greg Vad Nice. As these guys eclipse 20 laps to go, we're going to go and do something we don't usually do. We're going to go Pit Stop TV Sounds of the Sim. Sit back, enjoy. I'll turn the volume up and turn my mic down. And so, with about 12 laps to go, that's been a rare Sounds of the Sim segment. Greg Van Nice still working on 5th place Howard Peoples. No dice just yet for that position, but he is certainly putting pressure on the number 29. Your race leader still the 54 of Coulter Clark. No change there, and he has got a very busy racetrack ahead, so that 7-second gap about to be put to the test. But while that happens and we approach 10 laps to go, how about your North American Racing League Driver of the Day nominations? I've got my nominations ready. Of course, I'm solo today, so I was able to just make these in the background while we did Sounds of the Sim. And of course, I've got to start with our race leader, Coulter Clark. I think I would be very, very ill-advised to ignore the effort he's put through today. I know the early portions of the day not so great for him. The heat race didn't go so great. But since then, that's the really shining moment. 17th up to 1st, 33 laps led this time by. It's going to be over 40 if he leads the rest of the way to the checkered flag. Next up on that list, I've got to go Sean Hughes. No laps led, but he has been very quietly right where he needs to be for not just this all-star race, but also for the points that he will get out of it. Needing the points, trying to take this points lead away from Zach King. I know it's probably not going to happen today. It'll be close, but Sean just putting together a very, very solid effort. Very quietly, right where he needs to be in championship formation once we get to the chase here in a couple more weeks. And then Cameron Combs, all those laps led earlier, did great in the heat. Got those bonus points in the heat race, and I know it's not the win that he wants it to be currently, but still a very, very solid day for Driver 15, especially right on the heels of a bad day at Chicago last week. And for my 4th and final pick, if you're watching on YouTube, you already see the vote, but we're going to go Greg Van Nice. He's been putting himself in a really good spot. He also started deep in the field here for the All-Star race, and he is up a handful of spots, actually working on Jordan White here. Rather, White, I think, just passed him. Regardless, Greg Van Nice doing a really good job. He might lose 7th at some point to Romano, but I want to recognize the recovery drive here out of the 24 after the bad day at Chicagoland a week ago. So those are your options for today's Driver of the Day vote. Get your picks in now. Do not waste time. 5 laps to go in the race. We'll end that vote towards the back end of driver interviews after this. And this has been a very green flag look for the last 90 laps. These guys, yeah, they had a rough start, but they have figured it out since. Pit stop here for Romano, maybe. He goes down to the apron, and he is going to bring it to the pit lane, so it gets worse for car 44. He mismanaged fuel, pitted a little bit too early, and that's exactly why these guys waited as long as they did. I know I was even saying that I thought these guys needed to pit earlier, but clearly the guys who waited are in the better spot, and Romano is going to pay the price. I probably would be in his same spot. I think I would have pitted earlier with all the cautions we had early in the race just to make sure I got the stop done, and I'd probably be having to pit again now myself. 3 laps to go. Who's good on fuel, who's not? It was 67 laps for Romano. I don't see too many more in that same boat, but close to running out. Could be Van Nice and could be Combs. That said, 2 laps to go, this time by 2 more miles in the 2026 All-American Racing Network Bully Dog Coffee Company All-Star Race. A quiet race for car 54, but he's just a mile and change away from winning it. This would be win number 7 on the season if he can get it done. 1 lap to go for Coulter Clark. We're racing back to the line now no matter what happens. A 7-second race lead for car 54. All he's got to do is coast back around the final couple of corners. He's put up to 7th. 1 lap down. Make that 8 this gross goes by. But Coulter Clark locks in win number 7 this season. He'll win the All-Star race at Dover. And Whiplash Racing able to sweep the races at Dover here in 2026. Everybody else starting to come across the stripe. Here goes Zach King across, followed by Howard Peoples, Jordan White, Greg Van Nice, Casey Gross will come around, and then Coulter Clark, your race winner. We'll be doing burnouts once again. We talked to him towards the top of the show. Thought maybe we'd be talking to him again, and sure enough, Coulter Clark with the race win. And Jordan White going to join in the celebration. It's a bit of a team victory for these guys, and certainly Coulter ecstatic to grab the checkered flag here at Dover today. Again, win 7 on the season for him, and he was kind of down on the dumps about maybe getting this points lead before the end of the regular season. Looks like he might even go for a bit of a reverse celebration here. And he's going to keep doing that reverse celebration. I don't know how long the car can last in reverse like that. Not exactly getting any air to the radiator of the engine. But Coulter Clark able to grab the win. We'll be talking to your top 3 in just a couple of moments. Coulter Clark, Sean Hughes, Cameron Combs. And I'd say those 3 kind of feel like the championship favorites. I know King has been leading the points since earlier this spring, and Jourdain has got 2 wins before today, but I really do feel like if I had to just pick 3 championship favorites, I think it comes down to those 3. Toss in Romano, King, and White, and you've got a 6-pack of drivers that easily, I think the championship comes from one of them. But off of turn 4, a reverse victory lap, kind of changing things up. Typically, reverse victory laps look like what Kelwicki did all those years ago, driving around the racetrack, traveling forward, but in the reverse direction around the racetrack. Today, Coulter Clark travels backwards in the correct direction around the racetrack, if that makes any sense at all. And he's even got some more in it to do some more celebration. So Coulter Clark celebrates at Dover Motor Speedway. We'll take a look back at your unofficial race results after all of that. I got a points-paying all-star race, and I'm going to be honest, I was unsure about this at first. When I first knew that this was going to be a points-paying all-star race, I was a little bit confused. But I think this was a really cool format and switch-up. It's still a points-paying race, it's a bit of a different format to get into it. A lot of fun. Coulter Clark wins. Sean Hughes, Cameron Combs, Zach King, really no contest for the 54 car today. Howard Peoples P5 and a rare start for him. Jordan White, Greg Van Nice, and Casey Gross all finish on the lead lap. Elijah Mopin and Thaddeus Friel able to get a top 10. A little farther back, page number 2 of the results, you see Romano, Scalise, and Powell there through 13th spot. And these guys just really did not have a good day back here. Austin Adams, Joe Conan, Chad Fox, and Chris Winstone up to 5 laps down there for Winstone. Dakota Sidrus, 7 laps down. Michael Ravillo in 1951 laps down. He had that early exit. And then Jared Essenberg, even earlier of an exit for him. Michael Alley never taking the green flag. It's a checkered flag, certainly, for Coulter Clark. There's no denying that. And Coulter, you were kind of, I don't want to say down to the dumps, but maybe not the most optimistic about the chase and trying to get the, I guess, points lead going into the end of the regular season here, but this is certainly going to help you. I don't know that it's going to happen still, but this is going to help you big time. When did you know you had this win wrapped up, though? Because it earlier, it did not seem like it was going to go very green flag, and then suddenly it did.
I don't really after the pit stops. I mean, when I saw it came out in front of Sean, I was just really happy about that, and just started putting laps down, just trying to save the right front. And really, it was just waiting until everybody got done with the pit cycle. There was also the shot of a caution happening. So really, I was just trying to save the tires in case something like that happened. But man, it was scary there towards the end.
Yeah, it was a lot of lap cars around the racetrack there at the end. I think everybody kind of trying to manage their tires because, I'll be honest, when we went green at lap 10, I was saying, everybody, get your 4-tire stop in early because you don't know when the next caution's going to come out, and then you guys go green for 90 laps. How did that change things for you? I know you were trying to still figure out kind of how you were going to treat that mandatory stop when we went green.
I was thinking about doing a Scott Fritz strategy, hitting early and just, saving the tires, but really we never got the cautions to do so. So I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I just stuck it out, and kept it going. Just pit whenever the tires felt bad. Felt like I could even both runs out to make it even. I said that already, but I'm still shocked. It all worked out.
And again, this makes it 7 wins on the season now. I mean, how many are we going for at this point? 7. That's already a big number. 8 certainly got to be on the way. Are we getting double digits this season?
If it gets there, I hope so. It'd be pretty cool. I would definitely be a first in any league I've been in. I mean, there's lots of great opportunities and still a lot of races left, so it's possible you could.
I mean, yeah, we're looking at this. Look at the schedule graphic here. I can think of at least a half dozen races that you can still contend for a win, and that's not even counting Daytona and Talladega, and even a return trip to Atlanta. So, I mean, if we're going to call your shot, you may as well. You've got 7 wins. I think you've earned the right to do that. If you're going to call your shot here for 3 more to get you to double digits, I mean, Indy next week, that's got to feel like an opportunity, certainly. And the 3 short tracks after that, Iowa, Richmond, Loudon. Even when we go to Michigan, it feels like any of those could be in play. Daytona, Atlanta, Talladega, we won't count those. Anything can happen. Is there a racetrack that doesn't feel like a possibility for you to win?
I don't want to sound cocky. That's the thing. But
Coulter,
I feel
you
like
have
I got
7 wins.
Everything. I know. Honestly, Iowa, if any of them, I don't really care for Iowa. Yeah, I definitely think there's a shot at every single track that I'm up there.
Well, it sounds like I might be in the field for the Iowa race, so if you're not going to win that thing, I'm going to have to try and go for it. But Coulter, congratulations, 42 laps led in a race that you started from 17th spot. Boy, that was a comeback for sure. You're not quite leading the driver of the day vote, but that can certainly change. Hopefully we're talking to you again soon. Congrats.
Thank you.
Coulter Clark with a big all-star race win today. He gets it done over Sean Hughes, who had to watch Coulter Clark do the burnouts in the front stretch. Sean, it never really came back to an opportunity where you could catch that 54 car. Of course, the early cautions through the heat race and even the feature kind of, I think, scared everybody. And then suddenly you go 91 green. What was that like?
Yeah, I had a fast car. I was just super tight the whole race. And then the 54 was able to save tires better than me. But shout out to my sponsor, Spark Local Events. Spark Local Events, you can download it today and create and find local events near you.
And it's looking like maybe the points update not out just yet, but this is going to bring you very, very close to Zach King as we get very, very close to the end of this regular season. What's the game plan like for you, trying to maybe be that first seed into the chase?
Yeah, the points are gonna be tight. I'm just gonna try and stay consistent, try and stay at the wall, and see what happens.
And Indianapolis next week. Have you done any practice there yet? What's this car like there?
I have not, man. This car's a boat, so it's gonna be tough, but we'll see what we can do.
Well, Sean, good to talk to you. It's been a little while since we've seen you in Victory Lane. Maybe next week is the week. Best of luck.
Thank you. See you.
Been since Darlington for Sean Hughes. Hopefully he's back up there soon. And I was going to see if we can track down the driver of the 15, but Cameron Combs does not seem to be in Discord currently. So I'm looking around at who we can potentially... I'll tell you what. We talked to this guy very, very briefly earlier, and we'll see if maybe we can get the interview in. Greg, I know you didn't finish top 3, but we tried to talk to you earlier, and I fear I might have forced you out of the session by talking to you. But Greg, obviously, we tried to get you in practice. That was before this All-Star race, and lately, you've been on the up and up, having some really good runs. I know Chicagoland last week, you kind of got straight lined and taken out, but this is another solid run for you as we try to get ready and get into the chase. What's the outlook for you as we come up on the final few regular season races? With maybe no word from Greg Van Nice. Wanted to try and chat with him. Greg, you there? No word, it seems, from the 24, so we'll try and dial up another driver who's out there and begging in YouTube chat for us to talk to him. He actually finishes a spot ahead of Greg Van Nice, but Jourdain not able to defend your win from the spring here at Dover. Obviously, this was a different race format, so that certainly plays into it, but what was it like out there today?
It drove bad. I raced bad. It was pretty bad. But I don't know if it was the horsepower changes or what, but I couldn't hold on to the tires. Like I was even I felt the first run it was maybe because I wasn't dragging the brake as long as I maybe should have been, slipping the right foot. But even after I made those adjustments, yes, it was a little bit better, but it was still garbage to say the least. And I feel like in this league, I'm kind of known for being a little bit better on the long run, so not really sure what happened, but hopefully we can bounce back in the near future.
Yeah, definitely not the day that you were necessarily hoping for, but, you know, is there a shift maybe? We keep talking about trying to get some of these guys into the chase, and, you know, you and Coulter, you guys are over 100 to the good right now, it looks like. So is there a shift for you on the team side to see what you can do to try and help the driver of that 37 car to go for 3 in the chase? I think that would be the highest number of any team if you guys were able to get him in.
It would be a tall task to get that done, because I mean, looking at it right now, he is 300 wait, it's a 12 car chase, so he's 100 and something points back at about,
I believe it's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 7 races to go. Oh, it's a 10? Okay, if it was 12, it might have been. With it being 10, I'm not completely sure.
Maybe we'll ping Doug on that really quick to try and get clarification.
Because off of 10th, and I'm not gonna lie, there are some good drivers in the chase where I don't see them giving up that many points. I do think Chris can outrun some of these guys at more of the bottom half of the chase grid, but the issue is I don't think they'll go, because every week you see Elijah, Greg, Doug, they are top 10 cars. Casey, on his day at certain racetracks, he's a top 5 car, knocking on the door of a win. So it would be really hard for Chris, even if he wins the next races in a row. But how these guys run average finish, it's kind of impossible. And maybe if he won this All-Star Open today, it would have been an extra race. But he's had 2 bad weeks in a row. But, I mean, we'll see. You never know. I mean, I got lucky in BRB where, like 2 drivers in front of me in the chase said they couldn't race it. They couldn't make most of the races, and I got in the chase out of it. He's just got to push as hard as he can to drag it across the line, and hopefully he might have that same luck.
So looking at what Doug is saying, you know, Chris, he had a good start to the day, got the All-Star Open win, but as you say, fell flat here in the All-Star race, got some speeding penalties, and really kind of dropped the ball there, but he still did gain technically on the cut line, I think, as Melpin only went 9th today. Regardless, some clarification from Doug. We've got 10 going into the chase, plus 2 bonuses. 1 bonus goes to the driver with the most wins outside of the cut line. That currently would be Mike Alley, since he's got 1 win and he's next up out of the cut line. Then it goes to the driver with the most regular season starts. Now, unfortunately, Chris is not in the running for that. That'll easily be Corey Powell, Chad Fox, somebody like that, which will save Corey effectively, pretty much. But we'll talk about that later on. Regardless, Chris Winstone, he's kind of then trying to get a win and beat Mike Alley. I mean, does that change the game? And this could go for anybody, not just Chris Winstone, but I mean, guys that are listening, this could go for even Thaddeus Friel. This could go for an Austin Adams, a Mark Bender, a Mike Rovillo, even a Chad Fox. I mean, Daytona is still on the regular season, so...
Wait, I'm sorry, Andrew. My headset cut out. Did you just say it's win and you're in?
Not effectively, but if... So there's a bonus spot for the top driver with a win, I guess, with the most wins outside of the chase. So
he just needs to win.
Win and beat whoever already has a win as well. And that would be Mike Alley. He is only... Chris is about 60 points back of Alley, 65 points back of Alley. If he gets the win and gets there, I mean, and again, this could go for Christopher Foote and anybody else who's still winless outside of that cut line. Grab a win, and you effectively are in the chase.
There is a chance, but if I'm gonna be real, as his teammate, I'm not gonna let him win. I mean, of course, if he works for it and beats me straight up, by all means, but I'm not gonna hold back. If he should make the chase, he'll have the pace to do it. So, we'll see.
I love it. The competitive nature. Jordan, good to talk to you as always. There you see the schedule coming up, and hey, you can still make a vote for driver of the day. That vote is still going for just a little bit longer. We'll give you a minute or two here to make your votes over on the YouTube side. But Jordan, good to talk to you as always. Hopefully we're talking to you back in Victory Lane soon enough.
Yep, 10-4.
Jordan White, not quite a top 3 in the All-Star race today, but still a solid effort here at Dover Motor Speedway. And I'm sure we'll be talking to him soon. And let's be real, he's got 2 wins the last couple of weeks, so not a big issue, I think, for Jordan to have 1 race where he doesn't get the win. But coming up next for us here at Pits.tv tomorrow night, the NORA Retro Cup Series. And stay tuned. There's a slight TBD on that start time. That is technically a crown jewel race. And let's see. So that would put us initially at a start time about 7:15 p.m., but that race is actually the same length as Pocono last week. So Josh Conover basically is tasked with letting us know about when that race is going to start. But it's going to be around that time. Keep an eye on our social media. That's what we post on there for. And you see the upcoming races following that. We're aiming to hopefully put Legends on the racetrack at Charlotte on Wednesday, and then certainly we'll have him on track on Thursday at Langley alongside the Sarah Oarsman Ford of Manassas National Tour. That will be at Langley Speedway in Hampton, Virginia for the, let me think about this, Thronberg Construction Hampton Heat. So some great races coming up this week, and it's going to be exciting to see all of this unfold the rest of July, and then on beyond that, we even have a hill climb this Saturday. Tune in for that. That's going to be a special show, I think. We're going hill climbing Saturday evening at the Mount Washington Hill Climb. That will be a fun one for sure. You can catch all of these and more across our social media platforms, and it looks like the driver of the day vote maybe not going to budge. And so this might be a slight surprise, but it's going to be Sean Hughes winning that honor today. The North American Racing League Driver of the Day, getting back where he needs to be at the front of the field, second place. A solid day for him. And certainly where he needs to be as we get closer and closer to the chase beginning here for 2026. Once again, a big thank you to all of our partners. Of course, Bully Dog Coffee supporting this series week in, week out. Kind of the, not quite the Bully Dog Coffee Company Cup Series, but it may as well be here. Bully Dog supporting us with everything we do with the All-American Racing Network Next Gen Cup Series, and certainly a big thank you to them. Patrick Bowler, always a proud supporter of the series. Again, $15 can get you a bag of coffee using promo code FAST10 for your first order from bullydogcoffeecompany.com. Check them out today. Do not wait. Make sure to get your first bag in the mail very, very soon. And of course, a big thank you to our partners here at the channel: Whiplash Simcams, MXWraps.com, ATVO, Murder Sports, CC's Business, the North American Racing League, Whiplash Creative, and EZO Designs. That will do it for us this afternoon now. Been the first time we've said that for a little while for one of these races this afternoon. From Dover Motor Speedway, thanks so much for joining us here today, and we'll see you next time for the series. It's Indianapolis next week, next Sunday morning. For us here at Pit Stop TV, we'll be back in action tomorrow, also with Indianapolis, but the Legacy Scan at Indy for the Retro Cup Series and the National Oval Racing Association, the NORA Retro Cup Series. Back in action tomorrow. We'll see you then.